Hey guys, so I was on the Cycling Tips Tech wrap-up from Tour of Flanders, and this photo popped up, which is of Mathieu van der Poel's stem notes, which actually has his entire fueling plan for the whole race. Problem is, it's all kind of coded with different icons, so I'm going to go through, dig into it, and see what insights we can get, see how much he's eating, see what he's eating, see when he's eating it throughout the race. So on the left-hand side, we've got the kilometer markers, split into roughly 20-kilometer segments. Key moments of the race, so the climb, that's one of the climbs, so just pointing them out here. And then on the right-hand side, the food he's going to take and drink as well. This is specifically for Van der Poel, so I'm guessing other riders have different nutrition plans. Firstly, let's go and look through the different icons, figure out what they actually are. So, quite simply, first one, we've got these rectangles, which are energy bars. So, he's having these at the start of the race. There's green ones and blue ones. Alpes and Fenix are sponsored or partner with For Gold, this nutrition company. I'm pretty sure Mathieu van der Poel also owns part of the company. So if we're looking at bars, I don't have it on any other knowledge what else he would be using, so I'm just going to be assuming he's using their sponsored product, which would be these plant-based energy bars. Let's have a look at them quickly. So carbohydrates, 37 grams of carbs per bar. Next symbol, we've got that's obviously a gel packet here, coming in about 120k in. So gels there. For Gold make these isotonic gels, so we'll be assuming he's using these ones too. These gels have 30 grams of carbohydrates in each one. What else have we got on here? This smiley face, 200k in. I'll get into that later in the video. But the other clear one here are these bottles, these bidons. So this is the fluid he's going to be taking in. Couple of different colors here as well. Most of them are this blue color, which I'm guessing is some carbohydrate mix that he's going to be getting in. So which would be this Carbo Electro product. This is for 35 grams of carbs per serve, per 40 gram serve. Now, there is one icon on here which I'm actually not sure 100% what it is, and it's these circles he's having in the first 100k of the race. He's having, or he was planning to have 3 serves of something here. Now, I don't think it's a carbohydrate or fueling product because through these bars and these bottles, he's already getting in enough carbs per hour. So what do I think this could be? I think this could be perhaps a ketone and bicarb drink, although I don't know why you'd be having 3 serves of it. So my guess, maybe a ketone supplement. If any of you have any ideas on what these circles could be in the first 100k, let me know. It could also be a salt tablets, if he's a real salty sweater and he finds he needs the salt, although it was a pretty cold race, so again, I'm not sure if that makes sense either. That's just pure speculation. But let's go. Let's break it down hour by hour. How many grams of carbs is he having? What's his fueling like? So first 100k, first sort of 2.5 hours, he's basically on solid food, no gels, and he's got these bottles here. Now these bottles are different colors. So we've got here, this looks like a gray kind of colored bottle, so I'm guessing that's probably just water. Then he gets on to blue bottles in the second half of the race. That would just probably be his mix. Then there's yellow and this brown one. This brown one could be Coke, maybe. A bottle of Coke, possibly at around 100k in. Yellow ones, I'm not sure. Maybe, maybe that's something to do with if it's got electrolytes in it or not. But breaking this down, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 energy bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gels. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bottles of carbohydrate mix, and then 1 bottle here, which we're assuming is water. So breaking that down, we've got 5 bars at 36 grams of carb each. That is 180 grams of carbs. 7 gels at 28 grams of carbs each. That's 196 grams of carbs total. And then the 7 bottles of mix, depends how strong he's mixing them. Let's say roughly 40 grams of carbs per regular size bidon, which is about 550, 600 mils. That's 280 grams of carbs total. Combine that all together and we've got 656 grams of carbohydrates he's planning to consume throughout the race. And the race for him was 6.5 hours long. So we can see there, he's basically aiming for 100 grams of carbs per hour, which is what we would expect for the sort of power output he's doing. Like, it's just ridiculous. So we see like entire race, 354 watts normalized for 6.5 hours. And then in the second half here, like just stupid numbers, 410 normalized for 2.5 hours. So he's going to be needing, that's why he needs 100 grams of carbs per hour. That's sort of what we would expect. So why is he having all the solid food at the start and then moving to gels and bottles from about 120K onwards? Couple of reasons for that. Firstly, the intensity at the start isn't too high. So if we go and look at the first few hours until they hit the first hills, he's riding along 235 watts, which for him is barely even zone 2. It's probably not even zone 2, it's probably zone 1, almost recovery zone. So he doesn't need too much fuel for that to be burning a lot of, oxidizing a lot of fat, rolling along at that. So he wants to have carbohydrates coming in to set him up for the second half of the race, and also to keep his stomach settled. He doesn't need pure fluids and gels then. So let's double check his fueling again through the key part of the race where he's having just gels and mix, which is sports drink. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gels, which is 180 grams of carbs, and 1, 2, 3, 4, we'll count that one, 5 bottles of mix, which is 200 grams of carbs. Combine them together, you've basically got 380 grams of carbs from the 150K mark onwards, which took him, if we look at the file, from 150K onwards, that was about 3 hours. So actually over those last 3 hours, he's probably getting in closer to 120 grams of carbs. So from my interpretation of this, it does look like in the first half of the race, he's going 80 to 100 grams of carbs per hour, relying more on the solid food energy bars. Then in the second half of the race where it gets more intense, he switches to gels and bottles and aims for closer to 120 grams of carbs per hour. So then what is this smiley face he's having at 200K in? Back in the day, this would have been a lot more exciting, the classic finish bottle with certain painkillers that are now banned and things like that. Now, this day and age, with what's legal, this is probably just a big caffeine hit. You know, he might be having 3 or 4 milligrams of caffeine per kilo of body weight at this point in the race, so maybe something like 200, 250 milligrams of caffeine at this certain point. You also might be thinking, well, why would you have that at 200K in when the finish is at 270? Like, don't you want that closer to the finish? And actually not really. Like, if you're having a big dose of stimulants to give yourself a boost, you want that to be having its strongest effect at the hardest point in the race, which for Mathieu van der Poel isn't at the end of the race. It's actually that period from 1 hour to about 30 minutes to go, where him and Pogačar went off the front and attacks were going and he needs to be physiologically performing his best. So that's why he has it at 200K in. If we're looking at caffeine, that then has the peak uptake anywhere from sort of 45 minutes to an hour after ingestion. So you then be looking at, he'd be flying around 230 to 240K in, which if you go to his Strava ride, 230, 240K in is around here. And this is literally right in the thick of it. This is, 445 normalized for 40 minutes. This is where the attacks were going. Positioning was important. He was following Pogačar. So this is where the section of the race, he needs every bit of help he can get so that he can set himself up for a strong finish. So that's why it might look like he's having that stimulant hit a bit earlier on. That pretty much covers it. I find this stuff really interesting because Van der Poel's not going to sit down and tell you his entire fueling plan, but we can pick through the bones of what he's got on his stem notes and try and infer from there. So thanks for watching this video, guys. Hope you found it interesting, and I'll catch you in the next one.